in 2016 also our bass player Geert. Steph has always been with us since the beginning, and in 2017 we changed the drummer. And now Jens Ruland is our drummer, but he also plays with two famous guys here also in Belgium, but locally known, you know, like not a European band, but locally known. And it's been going good ever since. So we had a lot of changes in the beginning years because, it's like when you go from amateur to a little bit professional, it's, they're not everybody can do this, you know.
Yeah, the time, speaking the time and the effort and the touring and all that. Again, but as I've been doing this show now, Betsy Brown and Blind Raccoon has been sending me music for 2 years. It's great. The blues, what you got, everybody. I've said that. I was classic rock, what you hear on the radio, what you know. But when I was influenced by all this stuff, talking to Gil Anthony and Vinny from his show, Music on the Couch, it's amazing. The blues, everybody needs to have a radio station in town to hear you guys. You know, because you're just as great. Everybody's great. That's always my opinion on music. I'm just a big fan on this end. That's why the Who Magoo became fan of the Who, and Magoo's a nickname. You've done it again. So I just kind of put that together with internet and technology, and blessed with to hear all this great jams. So that's what just thrills me every day to hear this stuff and to be able to present it. Truly, I didn't even say anything at first. I didn't know what to say. It's like, I cannot believe I get to play all these awesome jams, and yourself is all included. And, and all the local people, it's termed the indie local. It's all beautiful. I don't care if it's 8th grade chorus, whatever it is. God lives in the notes of music. That's what I've always think. It can change your karma. At least it does me. Change my spirit.
Music as something special, it can when you're feeling down, you can listen to music and you're uplifted again. Sometimes when you're you have music for all kinds of emotions, and music can bring a lot of emotions to you. And the nicest thing when you write your own songs and when you play them and you see people getting touched by those songs, it's the greatest gift. It's if you hear some people sing your own songs, they sing them with you, it's like you get goosebumps all over, and it's like that's why you make music, to touch people. And that we really miss this at this point. I never thought I would miss it so hard, not to be on stage and to see the audience and to feel their energy. It's like, it's hard. It's you. If I haven't had a very good antidepressive, I would be very depressed right now.
Well, my friend, you know what I found out about that? It has to be the exercise end. The exercise and some music. I've had no booze. We left all that world a long time ago, But anyways, it does. It really motivates you, and the endorphins and everybody, just the vibrations. And I always wanted to say this with my show, because when you start playing people's music, oh my Lord, and when you first started doing it, it's like you're taking, everything was provided by me. I wouldn't just play anybody. I did venture over to Live 365 for a while, because then I can play all the licensed jams. It's either handed to you, Carmen, open source, or or it has to be licensed, one of the three. But it's still the same family. It's just the same tree. It's just the local guy, the people that can play. I wish I could do that and have that great talent that you guys got. And I know it must be just something to be on stage.
Yeah, it's like it's the you do a lot of hours for just 2 hours on stage. You're in the van, you're sitting in the van for 3-4 hours driving to the gig, and you're 4 hours in the van, and then you come to the stage, you play for 2 hours. So that is the to have 2 hours of fun. We have a lot of hours with no fun, or just it's sometimes you feel like it's a waste of time, but it's not. It's how do you say it? It's not bad, because you get those 2 hours, and for those 2 hours you will give up a whole day just to have the 2 hours of being on stage and playing your music. It's like the best gift you can have, and to give to people. And it's very hard now because here in Belgium we are in lockdown, so we can't rehearse also. I think it's been 4 months since I've seen my other band members because so
You
we
really
haven't
are
we
home.
haven't. Oh, sorry. What?
You're really home. Lockdown. In the States here, we see people. I don't see a lot. I mean, you stay away, but I think that might be.
Yeah, but we can go outside, but
Right.
we just can't. We only can outside. We can come together with 4 people maximum. Inside
Gotcha.
the house, only one is allowed. So when you rehearse, you have 5 people. So it doesn't work. You just can't do it. It's against the rules now. But yeah, we were 2 months ago. We were hit very hard in Belgium. So. We are trying to lower the numbers, and it's going down very good at this moment. But yeah, they want to be sure at this point. They don't want to take any risk like the like a few months ago.
Yeah. That's. I don't know what to say. It's a different times, but God, thank God, Nico, coming on the show today, spending the time with me. And speaking of that, I got the other computer going. This is being audio too. I was not planning having a live chat today on Skype, but when
Ah,
I could not get my computer to work with my speaker like I was going to do for the interview, I says,
yeah.
heck with it, Tom. This is my fun to kind of rearrange and get it going. Because right now, that speaker right now, you're jamming. There you are. You guys are on. So we
Mm.
advertised today for an interview, but I'll come back a little later and play us again. So anybody
Yeah.
listening right now, we're on live on Facebook. I don't think I shared it right either. So, but it's like the live experience. I'm trying to say in a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
ways.
Of
All
course. Of
production
course.
people with you, put it all together, get the chords right, and then the thing that happens is it doesn't always fall together as you need it to be, and then you just rock with it. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. But that's why I always say like we have to go in the studio to make an album, but
Right.
I don't like to be in the studio, and but you have to. You have to every now and then, every 2 years, you need to release a studio album. But I
Yeah.
prefer live albums, and I prefer to being live on stage, and because live on stage something happens, like uh, someone wants to do something different, and everybody goes along, and we make a song like 5 minutes longer than it normally is, or we change something every time. When people come to a concert, it's not the same. It's like yeah, you have things that are the same, but it's not. You don't hear a CD every time you come to a live concert, and we just want this, like it has to be an experience, and we have to jam. People
Mm-hmm.
need to the musicians need to communicate with each other and do something special at times, and that's the biggest fun of playing live music. You never know what's going to happen.
You hear about that, again with the Who and Entwistle and Townsend. Is that what leads off the drummers and the bass? I mean, I know other bands I've heard too. They can just kind of go. Does it always kind of go the drum bass and then lead it on, or I just like to talk?
Well, I think everybody's got it's like when the guitar player says like, okay, we are, I want to bring my solo down and on a low level, and then you just look at the bass player and the drummer, and everybody knows, okay, we're gonna go down.
Oh,
Or
okay.
it just signs like, hey, down, and everybody goes, because it's communicating with each other. The most important thing on stage is looking at each other and talking to each other on stage. Have eye contact, so everybody knows what's going to happen, and that makes I think a good band or a medium band. Like the communication between the musicians by themselves. That makes a great band.
And as a fan, we know that. We see that again. I've seen the Who like 25 times. I've been in New York, first row at Garden and all that good stuff. When you see that level of all you guys, that expertise, you see that happening. And especially when you hear it many times, you're like, hey, I like that. I prefer live versions of, the recordings are great, but the bands I like to hear is their live versions. And you got the double live CD right now. You're jamming.
Yeah, it's like when I go to a music store, or I want to buy a CD, and I want to buy a guy or a band I don't know, and I'm searching, and I will always search if they have a live album out, and then the first thing that I take is the live album, because everybody can sound good in the studio, but on live on stage, yeah, it's what it is. You're good or you're not good, and you can hear it. But in the studio, everybody can sound like a star, because you can manipulate and you can cut and you put some auto tune on the voice so you don't sing out of tune. Yeah, it's simple. Everybody can make a record in the studio, but not live.
And I bet you that's something that's really has changed in the last 30, 40 years. Because you hear back in the day that analog and bringing the trucks in, I don't know if they still do the truck stuff, that term, should I say, for big recordings, but now with all the different, a lot of groups are not together, you hear, and they're making it differently, the albums together. So that brings a whole different thought pattern.
But everything comes back, like in the past, we used the tape recorders and in the studios, and then everything went digital. And now everything is digital. And now there are studios to go to analog again, because, yeah, there is nothing like the analog sound. But yeah, it's a harder job. It's more work. How do you say it? It's more work to record analog, but the depth and the warmth of an analog sound you can't get digital. It's not possible.
I heard somebody explain it to me. It's like that square, the digital. It just squares off the sound. The analog still got that little peak a little bit, but it just squares and squares and squares, and that's where the richness comes.
What we did, like the live album is recorded in a digital form, but it is mastered through an analog table. So to give it the at the end, to give it the analog sound again, to give it some depth, it's just to make an extra. That I think that makes the sound a little bit more warm, special, and yeah.
It's getting back to like the stereos, the old tubes and all that too. Back in the days, the Macintosh, I'm old because I remember in the 70s, neighbors had the great tube Macintosh setup. Man, that was just it's still today. It's still the standards,
Yeah.
And now I don't even have my receiver up. I used my computer and my MP3s and everything. These guys, I got my nice speakers here. They're kind of just sitting here at the moment. Got to be rattling everybody else. So yeah, everything has kind of changed, but it's nice to have those things come back again someday.
Yeah, but
play that
all things come back. All things come back. It's like fashion. Every 40 years you see the pants with the big with the how do you call it with the big pipes at the bottom. I don't know.
Bell bottom jeans and all that.
Yeah, it always come back. Like every 30 or 40 years, fashion will come back.
Well, yeah, we call it over in the pond, but I imagine what it must have been like in the 70s and the 80s and all them bands, Zeppelin, and now let's talk about that. You see any of those guys?
No, I was just a little bit too young. I'm 47, so it's
gotcha.
Like, yeah, I was like, I wished I would have been born a little bit sooner, but I saw some great bands.
Oh yeah. And the big festivals are rocking.
Yeah, we got great festivals here. Belgium is known for we got in Belgium, there are not a lot of blues clubs, but we got a lot of blues festivals in Belgium. It's like